Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are live here at Senergy Medical Group. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Emmy Grimes. I'm an educator and advisor here at Senergy Medical Group. We are here today, and graced with our presence is Dr. Nathan Bryan and Susan Schaefer. They are the founders of Pneuma Nitric Oxide, LLC. I'm so thrilled to have them here. But before we talk to them more, I wanted just to talk about a few housekeeping things. We are recording this, by the way, so if technology fails you, we will be sending you a link in your email over the weekend. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We encourage you to go to our website to sign up for our newsletter so that you can receive our emails. You can click on get information or get more information, and that will provide you the emails to your email box. And that website, just so you know, is www.senergy.us. And furthermore, if you have any questions during this live stream, please bring them to us. We love hearing from you. We are going to be actually answering questions at the end of this live stream. So please make sure that you put them down in the comments below. Just a reminder, we will not be answering any medical related questions, but we will be answering those other questions. So we have the amazing Dr. Nathan Bryan here. He is the founder and CEO of Pneuma Nitric Oxide, LLC. He is a pioneer in his field with over 20 years of research under his belt with nitric oxide. He is an international leader in molecular medicine and nitric oxide biochemistry and an author of 5 books, guys. Crazy, amazing. And then we have Susan Schaefer here, the co-founder of Pneuma Nitric Oxide LLC. She is, she's also the president as well, forgive me, and brings over 30 years of business experience as well as corporate experience as well, and has worked with big conglomerates like Lancome, Dell, 3Com, and Human N. I'm so thrilled to have you guys here. They've worked together for over 10 years now doing this, and I'm thrilled to hear more about what nitric oxide does to keep us healthy. So I'll leave it to you, Dr. Bryan, to talk more.
Well, thanks, Emma. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you today, and it's always my pleasure to talk about nitric oxide and really create awareness and education around nitric oxide, because it's probably it is now recognized as one of the most important molecules produced in the human body. And we know that loss of nitric oxide production is what's responsible for age-related disease. So you need to be aware of what your nitric oxide production capacity is, and then employ some strategies to restore the production of nitric oxide. As Emma said, I've been doing this for over 20 years, really answering 4 fundamental questions. Number 1, how does the body make nitric oxide? What goes wrong in people that can't make it? What are the clinical consequences of that? And then how do you fix these underlying problems?
Yeah.
And in those 20 years, we made some seminal discoveries, have over 24 issued U.S. and international patents on this. And so we've created technology that basically addresses the nitric oxide, really the global nitric oxide problem. And so really nitric oxide is a signaling molecule that tells our cells in our body to communicate. And the main thing it does is it relaxes blood vessels and increases oxygen and nutrient delivery to every cell in the body. It provides electrons, so that's a really important component of energetic medicine, because you need all electron donors provide voltage and affect the pH of the cell. But it's how our immune system works. And so in this really interesting time of coronavirus, we're finding that people that are nitric oxide deficient are the ones that are more susceptible to disease. And furthermore, those nitric oxide deficient patients are the ones that do really poorly in terms of hospitalization, disease severity, intubation, and even a 10-time higher death from this. So nitric oxide is not just important in maintaining the integrity of the cardiovascular system and nutrient and oxygen delivery, but really it's how our body fights off these infections. So the single most important thing you can do during this time is to restore your nitric oxide levels. That way your circulation improves, your immune system is able to combat not just viruses, but bacterial infections and the such. And so that's really a 20-year history of nitric oxide and what we know now. So we've developed technologies to restore systemic production of nitric oxide through the NEO40 lozenge, but also topically for cosmetic and anti-aging effects, or even any type of dermatitis or anything topical related where you want to increase blood flow. Then we have technology to do that as well.
Yes, it's totally amazing. I love this product. Really beneficial.
Yeah, we've had great success with it. In fact, we've just had 2 clinical trials published on the serum. So both looking at the effects of fine lines and wrinkles from a cosmetic perspective, and also in acne. So we're finding 30 days, we see really a vast improvement. These are peer-reviewed, published clinical trials now on the product.
Really, that's amazing. Yeah, I've personally used Numa in my own face and even on burns. Like, I've used it and I've had great success with having results within short period of time. Really cool.
Yeah, the great thing about this is you can actually see the product working. So it's a dual chamber technology that you put 1 squirt from one side, 1 squirt from the other, and then you mix these 2 components together and they generate the nitric oxide gas. So when you apply it to the face, you can actually see the increase in blood flow and circulation. So wherever you apply it, it'll turn pink. So it's recruiting small vessels, improving blood flow and circulation to that area in which you apply it.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Susan, do you have any other thoughts you want to mention on this too?
Well, I'm just, thank you again. I share the same sentiment with Dr. Bryan, that we're grateful to have the opportunity to share with you and your members. Nitric oxide is so critical, and it just needs, the word needs to get out. So it's great to have these 2 different products to support a human body. And there's various aspects of use, as you just mentioned, one of them. So we're just grateful to have the opportunity to share. Thank you.
Awesome product. It really is, guys. Is there anything else that you want to mention, Dr. Bryan, about nitric oxide and why it's so important for our bodies to keep, our cells healthy?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what I mentioned earlier, that every single human chronic disease is characterized by reduced blood flow and oxygen delivery to that affected organ, whether it's heart disease, whether it's vascular dementia and Alzheimer's, whether it's diabetes and peripheral neuropathy, whether it's macular degeneration of the eyes. All of those result from an insufficient blood flow to those areas. And so you cannot correct any chronic human disease until you correct the blood flow, the regulation of blood flow to that affected organ. So whether you're taking supplements to give the body the missing nutrients that it needs, you need to deliver those nutrients to the individual cells, and you can't do that without restoring the production of nitric oxide.
And that's by taking the supplement you're referring to as NEO40, correct?
Yeah, so the NEO40 is a product I developed over 10 years ago. It's an orally disintegrating tablet. So in this product does 2 things. So number 1, if your body can't make nitric oxide, then we do it for you. It's the only technology in the world that generates nitric oxide gas. So it comes in this matrix, this lozenge, that when you place it in your mouth, it's activated by your saliva. This matrix falls apart and generates about 30 parts per million nitric oxide gas. We know that nitric oxide is vasoactive because we can see dilation of the blood vessels within 90 seconds. We've got 7 now peer-reviewed published clinical trials on this product. So again, going back, if your body can't make nitric oxide, we do it for you. But we also put technology in here that really restores the body's own ability to make its own nitric oxide. So we get to the root cause of why your body can't make it. So, and we're seeing amazing results with that. Sold over, I think, 80 or 90 million lozenges in the past 10 years.
It's amazing.
Really see some.
This is one of my favorite supplements because it tastes like a sweet tart. It really does. It's a great.
People notice the effects. So we think the combination of this, the NEO40, to restore endogenous production of nitric oxide, where your body maintains the regulation of blood flow, when and where you need to deliver it. And then for the topical aspects, opening up the small vessels of, the back of the hand or the face.
Right.
The neck.
Getting rid of those fine lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's not just systemic disease, but really aging and the signs of aging, whether it's loss of hydration, fine lines and wrinkles, or some type of acne or inflammation. All of that is a consequence of reduced blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you apply the serum to the face, you open up those small blood vessels, start perfuse the cells of the dermis, and then they can do their job. So the basis of giving the body what it needs to make a new cell that works properly is predicated on the ability to deliver those nutrients and raw materials to the individual cells.
Right. And it's such a good product. And you can do this twice a day, right? Like morning and night?
We do. All our clinical trials are once in the morning, once in the evening on a clean face. And this is really a new product category. So a lot of people have their favorite skincare line or skincare regimen,
Right.
and we're not looking to replace that. But really what we think is this is the missing component. Because if you have reduced blood flow to the face or really any part of the body, then whatever you apply, so after you clean your face, you apply this first, then you can open up the circulation, open up the pores, and then if you have a moisturizer or a peptide or stem cell serum or something that you put on, then the body's actually primed to receive that then because we've opened up the circulation.
That's so cool.
And really prime the body
That's
to
right.
receive what we put on there.
So
That's
cool.
right. It's foundational. So if you can start with this first, think of nitric oxide as the first step in everything that you do. Everything will absorb better and your body will receive it better. This master signaling molecule will really support where the systemic functions in the body and what it needs.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so grateful for y'all's wisdom. This is amazing to hear about these topics. What I'd like to do is go to our questions and see what we have out there to look. But before we do that, I just want to remind you all out there that we have Neo 40 and Pneuma nitric oxide here at Senergy Medical Group. And if you don't own this already, I encourage you to call here at Senergy at 972-580-0545. Or you can text that number if it's easier and that's your love language. We are happy to take those orders too. But it's a great product, and I'm thrilled to have this at our fingertips here as well.
Maybe we'd love to make an offer just to share that if anyone wants to submit a question, that we'll do a drawing at the end and we'll do a free giveaway.
Awesome. That is so great.
Along with the book.
Amazing.
We can do that with the book as well.
Yes. A signed copy of this amazing book that Dr. Bryan produced. So this is really
Dr. Bryan, will you share a little bit about this book?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've realized over the past 20 years is, I've published over 100 peer-reviewed scientific papers. What we find is really not a lot of people read scientific publications. So what I've done in this latest book, Functional Nitric Oxide Nutrition, is really taking our 20 years of knowledge and discoveries and put it into an easy read lay version. You can get through this book in about 90 minutes. But my objective was to really create some awareness around nitric oxide in a manner that the normal person can comprehend and understand, because nitric oxide biochemistry is very complex.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get out of the weeds of the hardcore biochemistry, but really put it into a way that's easily comprehensible.
Elementary,
right?
Yes.
And so in this book, we talk about how the body makes nitric oxide, what you can do to restore the production of nitric oxide. And it's really not rocket science. It's eating, it's a good moderate diet, eating a lot of green leafy vegetables and moderate physical exercise, but also recognizing the daily things that we do that disrupt nitric oxide production. Like number one, 200 million Americans wake up every morning and use an antiseptic mouthwash.
Right.
And we're killing the good bacteria that are responsible for generating nitric oxide. So now we're finding that using mouthwash causes your blood pressure to go up. You lose the benefits of exercise. So we have to stop that. And a lot of people are using mouthwash with good intentions, but there's consequences to that. And then number two, people use antacids and proton pump inhibitors. Again, over 200 million prescriptions written every year for PPIs, and it's been shown that disrupts nitric oxide production. So it's not only important to do the things that we know scientifically and clinically to restore nitric oxide production, but you have to stop doing the things that disrupt the body's ability to make it.
That's really
and so all of that is included in this book. And so really I'm just providing education and awareness, because it's clear now that your body cannot and will not heal until you restore the production of nitric oxide.
So important. And guys, for you viewers out there that are asking questions, make sure you put your name in the inscription so that we know who will win this amazing book and the nitric oxide serum. So good for you. So yeah, let's take it to our audience now and see what kind of questions we have out there. So we've got, oh, that's awesome. Nitric oxide was a saving grace throughout and after my pregnancy. That's really cool. We've got, will the serum help with brown spots on the hands?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we've actually seen this in some of our clinical trials. We just finished a 100-patient clinical trial, and one of the arms of the study was looking at the age spots, the dark spots on the hands and as well as on the face. And in 30 days, we see almost complete resolution of those age spots. And so again, part of what the cardiovascular system does is it delivers the good stuff to the cells so they can maintain normal metabolism, but it also takes away the bad stuff, the garbage. And so without proper circulation, number one, you don't get the good stuff to the cell, but you get a buildup of accumulation of the waste products. A lot of times that can cause discoloration and age spots and all the things associated with aging. So if you restore circulation and blood flow, you get the good stuff in, the bad stuff out, and the body heals itself. I mean, that's how the human body is designed to work.
That's really great. Yeah, no, that's important. And let's see, there was a few other ones I wanted to look at. The cosmetic use. Will the product help creepy skin on arms? Creepy.
Yeah, so that's what we're finding. So here's what we know, that using it 30 days, twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, we see the circulation improves. We see fine lines and wrinkles go away. Hydration, texture, complexion improves. Now, what we don't know, now for crepey skin and actually tightening up skin, we know that on the neck, we've seen really some amazing results within 30 days. But depending upon, and one of the questions is like after weight loss, massive weight loss, where you've got a lot of loose skin.
Right.
Theoretically, it should work. We just don't know how long you got to use the product to allow that to tighten up. So I can't really answer the question definitively because we don't have any clinical trials on that. And our standard is in randomized placebo-controlled clinical trials to look at the clinical benefits of that. But you know what? When you improve circulation, everything improves.
Yeah, it makes sense. Complete sense. And let's see what other questions people we have out there. I just had knee surgery. Oh, wait, here we go. How do you know if your body is low in nitric and need nitric oxide?
That's a very good question. And it's really been a challenge for a lot of clinicians and even patients because there's not a lab that you can draw or order to tell you what your nitric oxide levels are, like you can for cholesterol or vitamin D or magnesium. So what we have to do is rely on the clinical symptoms. And the symptoms of nitric oxide deficiency are, number one, you have an elevation in blood pressure, and 2 out of 3 Americans, several hundred million Americans, have an elevation in blood pressure. Number 2 is usually erectile dysfunction or sexual dysfunction in both men and women. And when you lose the regulation of blood flow and perfusion, then tissues and organs fail, and that's one organ that actually fails and it's really a loss of nitric oxide production. The other is you'll start to lose cognition because you need blood flow to certain regions of the brain to recall memories. So you'll start to develop some early signs of vascular dementia and cognitive disorders, diabetes, peripheral neuropathy, glaucoma. The increase in intraocular pressure in glaucoma is really a loss of nitric oxide production. And so really we look at the clinical presentations of such, and then introduce nitric oxide based strategies, and you can see those symptoms really resolve in short order.
That's amazing. Wow.
I mean, everything that he just mentioned is just really age declining issues. And what science tells us is that even at age 40, we make half of what we made in nitric oxide when we were younger. And every decade, we lose another 10%. So it's not, no one's going to not stop losing it. It's just as you age, you will lose it. Right. It's a matter of whether it's your lifestyle choices, the diet, as he mentioned in the book, or exercise, 2 natural ways to get nitric oxide. If your body's able to, convert to nitric oxide, then great. If not, there are other alternatives like this to support it. But it is something that the body will need as they age, no matter what.
Yeah, and I hear all the time that there's really not a lot we can do about getting older, but what we can do is affect how we age. And for me, it's not about how long you live, but the quality of life. And so if we can, if you're, Dr. Tennant is the perfect example. Older years, still living a very active life, free of disease. To the contrary, you got 18 and 20-year-old kids that are chronically ill.
I know.
Based on their lifestyle. And so if we can, prevent a lot of that, and I think probably the most important and profound application of nitric oxide is in preventative. So if you employ the strategies that we talk about in this book and prevent this age-related decline in nitric oxide production, then by all measure, you can prevent age-related disease and really enjoy life and a quality of life into your older years that otherwise wouldn't be allowed.
I love that. That's so great.
Give your body the best outcome as you age. So
yes, that's right.
Along with all the protocols Dr. Tennant recommends as well, it's a winning combination.
Totally is. Well, let's look and see if we've got one more question out there, and we will announce the winner, I believe, through Facebook here to let everybody know. So we will be announcing that later on today. We've got Brenda. She's asking, do you include information about nasal breathing to promote nitric oxide in your book?
Yeah, we do mention that in the book, and I think it's a very important concept because, we try to teach people to do what the body is designed to do in terms of generating nitric oxide. So deep breathing through the nose activates the nasal sinuses. There's an enzyme called nitric oxide synthase that's in the epithelial cells. And so when you activate that enzyme, it generates nitric oxide. But here's the problem. That works fine in young, healthy people that, the enzyme is functional and coupled and can make nitric oxide. But older, sick patients, so it's that same enzyme that's found in the endothelial cells. So if your body is unable to generate nitric oxide through that enzyme, which is what we see with age, then the deep breathing doesn't create any nitric oxide. And so that's a problem. And so what we have to do then is we have to fix that enzyme so that if you do the deep breathing exercise, it actually generates nitric oxide. You can deliver the nitric oxide to the airways. You can reduce blood pressure. You can open up the bronchial airways. And if you get some type of pulmonary disease or emphysema, then it can actually dilate the bronchial smooth muscles and improve oxygen exchange. So the good thing about what we do with the lozenge is if that enzyme doesn't work, then if you deep breathe while the lozenge is dissolving in your mouth, then we deliver that nitric oxide into the pulmonary circulation and into the airways. But number two, we actually recouple that enzyme through the use of this lozenge so that, within 30 days of using that lozenge, we recouple that enzyme and the deep breathing will actually work better than to generate nitric oxide.
Dr. Bryan, can you share with Emmy the differences of food in the different regions that it's sourced from and why it's difficult to often state a serving size with the disparities?
Yeah, so one thing we recognized years ago was that inorganic nitrate found primarily in green leafy vegetables like celery and lettuce and kale and beets, for example, that can provide a source of nitric oxide if you have the right bacteria and if your body can make stomach acid. But we know that the majority of the people can't utilize that because of mouthwash use or, achlorhydria for other reasons. But one of the things we did years ago was went around to 5 different cities across the U.S. and sourced certain vegetables to quantify how much you would need to eat in order to produce nitric oxide. And what we found was there's regional differences. So the farming practices up in New York is different than Los Angeles and Chicago and Dallas, and then on the East Coast in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wow.
So I guess the take-home message was that it's really difficult to make dietary recommendations because of the variability in that. And so what we've done with our technology is we basically give you the nitric oxide you would normally get, provided all the pathways are intact and you eat the right amount of diet, eat the right amount of foods to promote nitric oxide production. So to take the guesswork out of it, the lozenge basically does all of that and provides your body what it needs to make nitric oxide. That's
amazing. Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy because the findings are that you had to buy, I think you had to eat something like, what was it, Dr. Bryan, like a whole stalk of celery versus like 4 or 5 from New York to Dallas.
The variation of the practices. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Nobody can eat all that.
No. Nobody wants to. I can't even get my kid to eat like a broccoli, a little baby tree. That's really cool. Yeah, really great, guys. Well, I really appreciate so much. Again, guys, we're going to be announcing this winner at the end of this live stream, so be looking out for it. Oh, and I wanted to repeat again, how you get these details. So if you are not already signed up with our newsletter, go to Senergy.us, and that can provide you the link to click on to get our newsletters every week. And more information, you can actually call, or as the screen says, you can call at 972-580-0545. Also, guys, while I have you here, we are gearing up for our August Integrative Health Conference. I think it's going to be the biggest one yet. It's been insane, the overwhelming amount of people signing up for this. If you are not already signed up, please call Senergy Medical Group. Not only are you hearing from the amazing team of the Tenet Institute doctors, but you're hearing from Dr. Bryan himself, and also a wealth of people that are going to be joining us as well, and learning those revolutionary ways to keep you healthy. So please call the Senergy Medical Group and visit our website as well at www.senergy.us and to get your name on that list if you're not already signed up. Additionally, the Tenet Institute is still open and available to receive appointments and see you in person. I know it's still kind of an uncertain time, and we are offering telemedicine still at this point. So if you are kind of in shelter in place still, you can sign up to do that as well. And you can call the Tenet Institute at 972-580-1156. Also visiting their website at www.tenetinstitute.com. I believe that is all the time we have for today. Thank you again, guys, for joining us. I was so excited to have you here. We will be announcing that winner here soon, so stay tuned. And yes, there's the number there for you guys. I appreciate it. Next week, we are going to be having Tamra and myself. We are going to be answering all these questions that you've probably been wanting to learn more about, different things, and we are going to be addressing that. So it'll be another Q&A. So please join us next week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks again for joining us. We'll meet here again the same time, same place, same face. Look forward to seeing you. Bye for now.
Thank you.